color sections another really popular element that we use when we're laying out our web pages. These are how we set up divisions on your page. So we've got a color section here that has a white background. This color section has a video in the background. You can see with some content overlaid. And here's one with an image in the background. And we can do different colors and such in the background. So let's go ahead and edit that and we'll show you how this works. So a color section is located right here under layout elements. And if we get in and edit, we've got some different options to choose from. So we can set the minimum height. So we could set the custom height in pixel. We can allow the content to define the height, or we can use a percentage of the browser. Padding is this space here, so from the edge of the section to where the content begins. These are padding. So this is perhaps a default padding, or you can do small. You can do small or large, huge padding if you want more white space. But default should be just fine. You can set up borders, so top border, bottom border. There are some different options there. You can have a scroll down arrow. It's sort of an animated arrow that appears, and some different options there. So section background, we can set up the section colors. We can define the section colors that everything in the within this section will be defined. So if you want things within this section to be defined by your settings for alternate content or footer, socket, etc. Don't use that very often, but you can do that. The background color, we can pick any color in the rainbow to have in the background. Alternatively, we can add an image into the background. So let's use these guys here just for fun. We're going to use a full-size image. And so we've got, this is our background image. And there are a few different options. We can set it to scroll, meaning as we scroll down the page, the image will move with it. Or we can keep the image fixed and it'll appear as though the content is scrolling over a stagnant image. Or parallax, that's where both the background image and the content are moving, but at slightly different rates, and it gives it this sort of 3D effect. So it'll take some trial and error to get that right, but you know, I like the fixed in most cases. Use a nice large picture, and you'll need to define where you want the image positioned. Picture the entire screen, and do you want it up on the top left, the middle, but ideally you want the image to cover the entire page that people are looking at. So you need a good size image for a background image. If it isn't big enough, do you want it to repeat? And this here is a section for a background video. So all you need to do is upload your video to Vimeo or YouTube, grab the URL and put it right here. And instead of a background image, you can have a video that's playing silently in the background, which is exactly what this is. Just a short video, looks like some slow motion, and so different ideas you can have there. So in some cases, so this would be a good example, if we wanted to have some dark text over this, it's a very busy background, so maybe what we might want to do is establish an overlay. So we can overlay with a white color, and we can set our opacity. So if it's 1, that means it's going to be all white. If it's 0.1, it's just going to be slightly moving towards the shade of white. So you'll have to experiment with this, but let's say 0.5, and that'll do it there. So we're working with, we're basically taking that image and moving it and making it whiter with this overlay. Okay, so let's see how that looks. Update that, and we've got this image on the front end, and we'll refresh the page, and you can see the image isn't big enough. This is what happens when you have a too small of an image, but you could see the image is whiter, and if we want to make it even whiter, we can. We just go in and we adjust the overlay, so we make it even whiter so that it doesn't look as busy in the background. I'll show you how that is. You see how it tints a little bit whiter, so you could play around with that. But section color sections are very, very useful in terms of separating out your content into sections and allowing people to scroll the page as opposed to always clicking on new pages to see things. And this will help you. You can look at other websites that are doing it well, and you can pretty much build anything you want in this theme. So those are color sections.